Okay, so has anybody ever like thought of like something like too good eventually will like lead to something bad in life? Well, most of us probably have. So this quote from Mae West, it says, "Too much of a good thing can be wonderful," and that's like something I personally like agree with, just because like for me like happiness, like any sort of relationship or like even money, like too much of it like that, like I see it as being like a good thing, because like it can like lead to you being like wonderful and happy. Like too much happiness to me, like I would never complain about too much happiness. Like I'm like me in my life right now, I'm probably the happiest I've ever been, and for me like too much happiness would never be like a bad thing. And for me it's like a wonderful thing in life, and like to be able to have relationships, whether it be like an intimate relationship with like someone, or have like friendships or even family like relations. I think like having like too many friends wouldn't even be a good thing, just because you could have like those friends that like, oh, you want to go out, or you want to like go do homework, or like you just want to hang out, grab some food or something. And then I don't like, I have those friends, so like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and it'll be completely different. And I feel like, to me, to be able to have like for me it's like too good to be true in a way, but it's like a wonderful thing in like in my life. And then when it comes to like family, I believe like in family I don't have anything like bad, anything. I have like a lot of family, and to me it's like really good, and it's really like wonderful. And I don't know, I just wouldn't complain as to where I'm at right now, like in life. And
All right, well, the attention device isn't as distinctive as it could be, but you do get right to the quotes, so we know what your point of view is on that, and I like the idea that you are willing to embrace the quote and the idea behind it. There's not really, it doesn't sound like there's much of a plan. As you start talking about things, I think, well, maybe the family and friends thing is going to be a structure, but you don't have examples that you develop on either of those points, so it's not really much of a structure. It's more like a passing thought as opposed to a plan for the presentation. So you end up circling around a lot on the topic, kind of saying the same thing without necessarily a way to illustrate how it is true. And so it just doesn't develop very much in terms of the content. Presentation things, look, you project your voice pretty well. We can hear you. I think that part's solid. Your pacing is a little inconsistent, but it's not bad. You are relatively fluent while you're speaking. Your eye contact, though, is very inconsistent. You look down at the quote repeatedly, like some idea is going to appear there that wasn't there a second ago. It's not. It's just one of those things that's a crutch. Where do I look that doesn't involve looking at the people that I'm talking to? Or I can look at the quote. And sometimes you're off in the corners doing the same sort of thing. So you got to be careful about that. If you start talking to people, you'll often find that they'll respond to something that you're saying, and suddenly that becomes a vein that you can follow up on. But if you're not paying attention to the audience, you're not going to pick up on those veins of ideas. And I think that's sort of what happens here. When the family and friend thing came up, I think you might have seen a couple of people smile and, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes you just can't have enough friends. And if you'd seen somebody smiling and nodding and responding to the point that you'd have, you might have thought to follow up with the example of your friend that's so important that they're in your life and that you're so glad that you spend time with them and that you wish you could spend more time with them, that kind of thing. And you'd have a story. If only I could have spent an extra 40 hours on the weekend with this dude doing this thing that we did, or, with this woman that I met, and how fantastic it would have been. You'll find things to follow up on if you kind of take the leads that people give you. And I think you missed the opportunity to do that there. And at the end, I think that you bail on us a little bit, but it's a quiet sort of bail. You just kind of, and then you're done. So you want us to know that you're done. You want to be clear that you've made your point. Come back to the original point. I think that's the way to do those kinds of things. Even if it feels like you are ending up short, come back to the idea that you're trying to make in the presentation. Make it clear that you feel like you're the one in control of the ending, not like it's just you're letting things peter out. You don't want to finish that way. All right, thank you.